There are those who see the challenges facing the nation and say, send me. They fight for country. They fight for honor. They fight to win. Do you have what it takes?
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Dre Type, man, and you already know what time it is. Back with another video. It's time to do what we do best. We'll do what I do best. Today, man, episode 4, I think. Like, I'm already losing count and I just started. That's crazy. But anyway, this past weekend was Memorial Day, so you know I had to pay homage and tribute to everybody who served and gave their life for this country so we could enjoy the freedoms that we do today. You know, with that being said, let's get straight into it. I was gonna do a memorial piece, but I felt like I wouldn't finish in time, so maybe I'll still end up doing one, but just not today, you know. I'm just trying to keep this content coming as consistent as possible, and eventually, you know, I'll stay up with the times, or like I'll predict it more in the future, so that's something to look forward to. So yeah, other than that, man, today we going black canvas. You know, it's a vibe. It's shit like Christmas, cause you never know, like, you know, we're gonna discard that properly for video sakes. Yeah. The reason I started making these videos is because I wanted to track my own progress. At the same time, I wanted to allow people to see like my process when it comes to my art and everything that I do. So it's kind of a way to keep track of it, you know what I'm saying? So a year from now, I could look up and I could come back and watch my progress and see how far along I've come. So it's definitely something I hope y'all also interested in. That's why I say, like, every day before I start a video, if you got suggestions or anything you want me to draw, paint, whatever, just leave it in the comments and I'll try to get to it, especially if I'm feeling an idea, and we could, you know, we could go from, you know, I'd be selfish if I said I did this for just me, you know. I can't quit, man, you know what I'm saying? I got so many people vested into me, you know, not just necessarily financially, but spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Like people who put in their prayers and the whole nine, man, just looking out for me. And this is just me, like, looking back and saying thanks or whatever, man. Like, I'm trying to build this platform from the ground up so that people can know, like, yeah, I did what I was supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Dre Type, man. Promoting positivity as much as I get the opportunity to, man, because life too short for the bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it. And then let's just get into it. I don't really want to take up too much of your time, but I hope you enjoy, man, because I'm going to definitely enjoy painting it. And I hope you catch the vibe, man. Dre Type, let's go.
Well, I mean, definitely in the beginning, I had no intention or whatsoever that what I was practicing and what I'm still practicing now would lead to this to begin with. But martial art has a very, very deep meaning as far as my life is concerned, because as an actor, as a martial artist, as a human being, all these I have learned from martial art. All type of knowledge ultimately means self-knowledge. So therefore, they are coming in to, and ask me to teach them not so much of how to defend themselves or how to do somebody in. Rather, they want to learn to express themselves through some movement, be it anger, be it determination, or whatsoever. Running water never grows stale, so you gotta just keep on flowing. To me, ultimately, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. Now, it is very difficult to do. I mean, it is easy for me to put on a show and be cocky and be flooded with a cocky feeling and then feel like pretty cool and all that. Or I can make all kinds of phony things, you see what I mean? Blinded by it. Or I can show you some really fancy movement. But to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly, that, my friend, is very hard to do. And you have to train. You have to keep your reflexes so that when you want it, it's there. When you want to move, you're moving. And when you move, you are determined to move. Not taking 1 inch, not anything less than that. If I want to punch, I'm gonna do it, man, and I'm gonna do it, you see. So I mean, so that is the type of thing you have to train yourself into it, to become one. I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. If you honestly express yourself, it doesn't matter. It will bring more understanding, more things that are, hey, like different, you know? And maybe in the contrast of comparison, some new thing might grow. So therefore, I mean, it's a very rich period to be in. I mean, like if I were born, let's say, 40 years ago, if I have a thought in my mind, I said, boy, I'm gonna star in a movie or star in a television series in America. Well, that might be a vague dream, but I think right now, maybe.
We are running out of time. What are you going to do with the time you have left? I say that if you don't reposition yourself, you could miss the best time in your life, in this season of life. Because we have got to change the way we think. We have got to change the way we function. We have got to change the way we deal with issues. And the reason that you have to begin to reposition the way you think and the way you function and the way you feel is that we many times are stuck between the lines of limited thinking and limited people and limited ideas and limited philosophies. And there's something creative down inside of you saying, let there be. You need to walk into a situation where you've been locked up and tied up and tangled up and say, let there be light, let there be healing, let there be books, let there be change in this city. You have tried 4 or 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different things. Each you worked on 90 days or so and then said it doesn't work. How can you be a leader with a 90-day test? Of course it didn't work. You didn't stick to it long enough. You didn't fight hard enough. You didn't do what it took to win. And rather than to correct it and get it right, you walked away from it and tried something else. And for the last 10, 15 years of your life, you've been on the run from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, trying to make all this stuff work. Stop it. Stand still. You have to have the courage to live with the pressure and the criticism. New levels bring new devils. You have to be tough. You have to be tough to be able to stand it. It's tough for keeping your kids encouraged while you secretly worried to death yourself. It's tough for getting ready for a birthday and don't have a birthday gift. It's tough of not being able to get the light bill paid and the water bill paid. It's tough. But what do we do with these moments? Do we just have them and go back home and wait for the next one? almost like junkies getting a fix or smokers smoking a cigarette? Are we just habitually addicted to moments without being able to take that moment and use it strategically to do something in our lives? You do not have to accept it the way it is. Somewhere down inside of you there is creativity. We've got to break out of the barriers and the limitations and get outside of the box. Something is about to happen in your life. You've got to take it one day at a time. And when you get to the end of the day, you say, I'm not finished, but I've done everything that I was supposed to do for that day, for that time, for that season. Your season is shifting. You will be able to do now in a way that you have never been able to do it before. You haven't sung your best song. You haven't preached your best sermon yet. You haven't thought your greatest thought. You haven't written down your greatest idea. You haven't dreamed your best dream. Baby, you haven't laughed your best laugh. You haven't had your greatest day yet. It's somewhere inside of you. You're a miracle looking for a place to happen. You have got all kinds of things locked up inside of you that are about to come forth for such a time as this. The time is right. The stage is set. The conditions are in order. And something awesome is about to happen in your life. Don't let anybody tell you you're too young. Don't let anybody tell you you're too old. Don't let anybody tell you you're fitted. Every day you wake up in the morning, it's a sign. The best is yet to come. This is my moment, and I am determined to live it. The mind is the battleground. The fight is in your mind. Are you ready for the next level? What are you going to do with the time you have left?
I'm telling you, you can make whatever kind of money you want to make. You can have whatever you want to have. You can do whatever you want to do. Like, there are no limitations. And aren't you tired? There's some of y'all out there right now. You're tired. You know, somebody telling you when to come to work. Somebody telling you when to take lunch. Somebody telling you when to do a vacation. Somebody telling you what you can and cannot do. Some of us, we were born to fly. But what I'm telling you is, when you become the right person, what I mean by the right person is, once you identify who you are and you begin to separate yourself from the masses, and you begin to see your individuality, when you begin to see your talents, when you begin to see your personal skills. All right, it's like this. If you ever wore a suit from the store before, that's one thing. But if you ever got a suit tailored, are you hearing what I'm saying? If you ever got a tailored suit before, you know that it's different from going to buy a one-size-fits-all suit and then having a suit that's tailor-made. It fit different. The pants are different. The way you walk in it is totally different. Why? Because it's fit to you. And what I'm telling you is, you need to have a tailor-made life. When you were created with a specific purpose, a specific design. I don't care if you was born and, you know, your parents didn't claim you. You still special. I don't care if your mama wasn't in your life, your daddy wasn't in your life, you are still special. When you were created, you were designed to do what nobody else can do. And I'm telling you, when you become the right person, what you do is you start separating yourself from other people. You begin to have a certain uniqueness. As long as you following other people, as long as you being a copycat, you will never ever be the best copycat in the world, but you will be the best you could be. So I'm challenging you, number one, I'm challenging you to define your value, right? Number two, I challenge you, listen to me. If you want to make more money, if you want to be more successful, if you want to have and do stuff you ain't never done before, number two, I'm asking you to invest in you. That's right, invest what? Number one, I'm asking you to invest time. I'm asking you to invest time in yourself. Some of y'all, you spend so much time with other people. You spend so much time trying to get people to like you. You spend so much time trying to fit in that you don't even know who you are. You know other people more than you know yourself. You studied them. You know about them. You want to hang out like them. You want to be just like them. And you know what? You've invested so much time in them, you don't know who you are. I challenge you to spend time by yourself. I challenge you to take yourself out. There's some young ladies right now, you fine, you pretty, you got it going on. Some brothers, you handsome, you suave, you got swag. But you know what your problem is? You've been in one relationship after another relationship, and you ain't never been in a good relationship because you don't even know you. You spend so much time taking her out. You spend so much time trying to impress him. You spend so so much time buying her flowers, taking her out to lunch. You spend so much time calling him, you don't even know who you are. You heard what I said. You've invested so much of your time in being liked by other people, being loved by other people, being appreciated by other people, that you don't even know who you are. And I challenge you to invest time in your own self. I challenge you to get to a place when people don't like you, it don't even bother you no more. Why? Because you're not concerned with trying to make them happy, because you're trying to blow up. You're trying to get to the next level. E.T., I don't like the fact that you do this. I don't care. I'm not living my life for you. I'm living my life for me.
The differential of somebody winning and losing has nothing to do with their genetics, has nothing to do with their potential. It's their perseverance, always showing up. A person that's willing to gamble it. If you show up, then you have a chance. If you don't show up, the outcome's simple. Never there, like an audition. If you show up to the audition, there's a chance you might get the part. If you're too scared to show up and you sit back at home, wondering what if and everything else, no one in hell is gonna call you an opportunity because you weren't present. The winners always show up. They're willing to lose in order to gain. Big mental thing there, guys.
Everyone could take action. Literally, if it's that simple, if all it takes to succeed is the ability to know what you want, take action, know if it's working, and keep changing until you get what you want, how come everybody doesn't do it?
You go after and you give it all you have. If you lose, at least you tried, man. I failed. It's 10 times more of a man than someone said, what if? Because what if never went to the arena.
The reason is fear. And the fear is usually fear of failure or success or rejection. But the real word I would use for this thing we're afraid of is pain.
When you guys find a fear, that fear will either create you or destroy you. I love fear. And the reason why? Behind every fear is a person you want to be. Fear is self-imposed, meaning it doesn't exist. You create it, you can destroy it too. It's an intangible. If you face your fears, guys, you will realize it's not that big. You face your fears, you become the person you want to be. You run from your fears, you're not living. You're alive, but you're not taking the freedom. You're not running the day. The day's running you. You always be the f***ing servant, not the master, guys. If you find a fear, the quickest, the easiest way you can beat it is initially, right when it comes in. If you allow it to sit, it will grow roots and start breaking you down, destroying the potential of the person you can be. Again, the champions, guys. It's not their potential, it's not their genetics. It's their perseverance to always show up, always willing to fail, because in failure, that's part of success. Success is not, a marathon of life with just ups. Success is formulated through failures, through facing your fears, through falling down and getting back up. That's what creates the champion. Success does not define us. We define the success.
So then let's consider first of all, what is a mind in the grip of vicious circles? Well, one of the most obvious instances that we all know is the phenomenon of worry. The doctor tells you that you have to have an operation. And that has been set up so that automatically everybody worries about it. But since worrying takes away your appetite and your sleep, it's not good for you. But you can't stop worrying, and therefore you get additionally worried that you are worrying. And then, furthermore, because that is quite absurd, and you are mad at yourself because you do it, you are worried because you worry because you worry. That is a vicious circle. So now, can you allow your mind to be quiet? Isn't it difficult? Because the mind seems to be like a monkey, jumping up and down and jabbering all the time. Once you've learned to think, you can't stop. And an enormous number of people devote their lives to keeping their minds busy and feel extremely uncomfortable with silence. When you're alone, nobody's saying anything, there's nothing to do. There's this worry, this lack of distraction. I'm left alone with myself, and I want to get away from myself. I'm always wanting to get away from myself. That's why I go to the movies, that's why I read mystery stories, that's why I go after girls, or anything that you do, or get drunk, or whatever. I don't want to be with myself. I feel queer. So, well, why do you want to run away from yourself? What's so bad about it? Why do you want to forget this? Why do you want to become yourself? Because you are addicted to thoughts. This is a drug, a real dangerous one. Compulsive thinking, going on and on and on and on and on all the time. It's a habit. So there's a difficulty about stopping that activity. And you really have to stop it if you want to be sane. Because if I talk all the time, I don't hear what anyone else has to say. Then I'll end up in the situation of having nothing to talk about but my own talking. Or so in exactly the same way, if I think all the time, I won't have anything to think about except thoughts. So in order to have something to think about, there are times when you simply must stop thinking. Well, how do you do that? The first rule is don't try to. Because if you do, you will be like someone trying to make rough water smooth with a flat iron. And all that will do will stir it up. So in the same way as a muddy, turbulent pool quiets itself when left alone, you have to know how to leave your mind alone. It will quiet itself.
The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A.
If you can see it here and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen.
You see what I'm saying? You want to be in a dominating point, okay? So what we got to do is we got to get you thinking. We got to get you thinking like the dominators think. How do they act? How does Warren Buffett act? What does Warren Buffett do with his time all the time? Those are the people I study today. I don't study the people that I went to school with, the teachers I went to school with. I don't even study my own family members, okay? I'm looking for people that are way up here that I can say, hey, what are they doing? Because they're doing it right. So I look to surround myself with people that can dominate, people that are certain, okay? People that know what they're doing, people that are in control.
You know, if you don't surround yourself with other dreamers, here's what I know. If 9 of your friends are broke, you're going to be the 10th one. That's it. If 7 of your friends smoke, you're going to be number 8. If you stay with that circle of friends, you've got to surround yourself with like-minded people. See, stop telling your big dreams to small-minded people.
If you don't go home tonight tossing and turning, truly making a decision where you're tired and jacked up at the same time, then I'm not talking to you. Weird things happen to people when you make a decision.
My mom wanted me to be a truck driver because that would mean I would make $24,000 a year if I went to Truck Masters, and that would be twice what my father made. And she thought that would happen, but something inside of me said, I don't want to drive a truck. There's something else that matters more to me, and I decided I was not gonna go for money instead of passion. And the rewards have been pretty amazingly better than being a truck driver. It's not bad being a truck driver, it's just not what I was after. And I look back, and one of the things that helped me was my original teacher, Jim Rohn, who was a personal development speaker. I went to hear when I was 17. He said something the first time I heard him. He said, you know, it's really simple. If you want life to change, you got to change. If you want life to be better, you've got to get better. It's the only way it happens. And luck will show up for people and to leave them. But if you're constantly improving who you are and what you give, game over.
So look, if I can do this, you can do this, but it's going to be hard if you don't change your mind. You got to change. You got to change the way you think. And the way to change the way you think, ultimately there's 2 ways, okay? I mean, there's probably 3 or 4 ways, but first of all, the one way is to start discipline yourself. Catch yourself every time you say, I don't have time, say, hey, I create time. Every time you say, I don't have money, I create money.
I put the third eye on Einstein's forehead because I respect him as a visionary and a person that can see what doesn't exist in most people's eyes. Most of you guys focus on all of the things that you can see. A visionary specializes. Only those who can see the invisible can do the impossible. Only those that can see the invisible. How do you see something that doesn't exist? You have to be a visionary. You have to be a person that can say, yo, I just seen something.
I'm talking about people that really want to figure out how to move themselves forward. And you know, I find that so many of us think that our dreams are unreachable or unrealistic, and it's just so sad. I mean, people think that their dreams disappear. And if that's what you think, congratulations, you're officially stuck. And the truth is that our dreams are always there, and they don't ever give up on us. We give up on them. But here's the secret. If you just force yourself, and I mean force, because I know damn well none of you want to do anything about this, but if you just force yourself to take a couple small steps, there's always a surprise.
Everything I've ever done started with a fear.
That fear of having a dream, and that fear of, oh, I can't dream that, you know, I'll never be able to do that.
Right.
You know, it was important to know that, yes, you can have that dream, but you have to know, honestly, what it's going to take for you to achieve that dream. And so then I came up with the quote, and it goes for everybody, all genders, all races. You know, don't be afraid to close your eyes and dream, but then you have to open your eyes and see the reality of what it's going to take for you to achieve that dream. And a lot of people, they kind of see, whether it's musicians or athletes or entertainers or even just successful people, but they don't understand the thing that it takes for them to get to the point that they've gotten. And you know, that's why it's a very important quote to me, and I think it, you know, it has inspired people, and it inspires me every day.
See, this is what people do. They set a target. Remember when you were a kid and you set targets that were big, giant, had nothing to do with reason? They were giant, right? And then you had some difficulty getting to it, and somebody said, what? Dude, your goals are unrealistic. You need to drop your goals down. And add 40 years and end up with nothing. Certainly not congruent with your potential. How many believe you have more potential than you're going for right now? Dude, it's way up here. It's beyond what you're going for. So you want to set it here. I want to set my targets up here. I never lower a target. Never, ever. That's my target. I'll fail on my target. My whole lifetime I might fail on that target, but I won't let it go.
Success is something entirely subjective. Success is not about having lots of money, living in a big mansion, having an indigo suit. Absolutely not. That's part of it, but it's not the whole of it. You see, success is when you attribute value to things that matter to you. If you don't love what you do, it's going to be hard to continue. Do you know why so many people don't like their jobs? It's because there's no heart in it. They're just doing it to get the money at the end. You got to enjoy the process and then trust the process. And that's how to get a small vision off the ground, the come up.
I was very, very lucky to find it, you know, when I was 7 or 8 years old, and you know, and fortunately, my children have found their passion. One son loves farming like nothing else. One son loves music like everything else, and all 3 of them love philanthropy and what they get to do. You're lucky in life when you find it, and you can't guarantee you're going to find it in your first job out. But I always tell college students that come on, I said, take the job that you would take if you were independently wealthy. You know, you're going to do well at it.
Passion often is linked with purpose. What I love to do is often what I should do. We have been created within us the capacity to have things that we enjoy greatly, and a lot of times there is a definite relationship between what I am in love with and what I should be doing. We are created and wired in such a way that passion and purpose many times comes together, and passion is the great energizer. Once you have passion, you have energy.
If you got the energy and you go, I don't know where to start, throw a rock and where that drops, start there. Talk to the next person. Just take massive action and keep changing. If you want to speed up the result, you find someone who's already getting the result you want. They've lost 30 pounds. Do what they did. They have a relationship that's passionate 20 years later. Let's figure out what they're doing. That's the way that you do it. And then the third thing is, if you really know what you want and you're obsessed by it, you got all this energy and drive and you're taking massive action, you're changing your approach, you're doing what works, the third thing we need is grace.
Whatever you move toward, if you move toward success, success seems to start coming your way. So figure out what you could do to make the move, to begin the early qualifications and then sustain the qualifications, and success is yours and health is yours and all valuable things.
So the point is you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to do it the way everybody else has done it. You can do it your way. You can break the rules. You just can't get in the way of somebody else getting what they want.
days and darker nights. You fight through all the pain until you find the light, find the light.
RocketPro.com